presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Ohio.
The Indians, fresh off a second straight sweep of their Central Division rivals from Detroit, match up with the defending world champion Kansas City Royals for the first time this year. KC lifted the World Series trophy for the first time in 3 decades, and the Tribe has their eyes on that prize this season. Game 1 matches up flamethrowers Danny Salazar and Yordano Ventura. Next on Sports Time Ohio. A beautiful night for baseball in downtown Cleveland, Ohio, as the Indians welcome in the Kansas City Royals for the first time in 2016. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Anxious to get our first look at the defending world champion KC Royals, but we're going to start tonight talking about Michael Brantley, because last night a special performance, the 11th time in his career he's had a 4-hit game.
Well, it's just a matter of time before Michael gets and turns it around and gets back into playing like he's capable of doing. Last night was a very good step. He hit the ball where it was pitched. He used the whole field. One to right, one to center, one to left, and then he turns on this one for a little insurance late in the ball game. Michael is back. He made a nice catch, but you know what? Be patient with him, because he's only going to get better as this season goes along.
All right, now you talk about tonight's pitching matchup. You got 2 guys that can rear back and just bring the heat, Danny Salazar and Yordano Ventura.
A couple of guys that matched up early in their career, and it seems like they're going to do it for a long time. Salazar, in his last outing, gave up a 2-out base hit, and he balked in a run, and that cost him a ball game. But he's been outstanding, only giving up 14 hits in 30 innings, and you can see his career against Kansas City. They've had his number. He's 4-5 with a 4.64 ERA, where Yordano Ventura, another hard-throwing right-hander that has a changeup and a breaking ball as well, he has had his way with the Indians. He can get it up into the mid-90s, an outstanding slider, and also a very good changeup. But he can be erratic. He can walk a lot of hitters. He has 20 walks on the year. If you can take that walk, get base runners, get a couple of key hits, that's what they're going to have to do, and they've done that against Detroit this year.
So far this year, both the Indians and the Royals, it's been 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Neither team has been able to get on a consistent roll. We'll see what happens tonight. It's the Indians and the Royals. The play-by-play is coming up next, plus we'll check in with Andre Knott, who will tell us what Danny Salazar learned from watching the Royals win it all last year. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by WB Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by your local Toyota dealers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
have proven the last couple of years that they're the team to beat in the American League. So yeah, there's definitely a little extra motivation or natural motivation just to play them, but you know, they're in our division, so we can't take it like that because we're going to face them a lot. So we can't take just first series, you know, try to go all out first series and then forget about the rest of the year.
Our whole team sees their team and sees a lot of our team in their team, and you know, they're not the most talented team in the world, but they play together hard and they play the game the right way, and you know, I think our team sees that and knows that we can do the same thing.
That was our Hear Right sounds of the game. You heard from Yan Gomes, tribe catcher, and pitching coach Mickey Callaway, their observations about the Kansas City Royals, who come in here as the defending world champions in Major League Baseball. And with that, last year, out of the Dominican Republic, a young pitcher by the name of Yordano Ventura helped get them to the World Championship. And that man right there, Danny Salazar, hails from the Dominican Republic. He'll be on the hill today. And what did he learn from watching the Royals win it all last year? We go down to Andre Knott for that answer.
Well, for Danny Salazar, watching the Kansas City Royals win the World Series was tough. He said he couldn't watch Game 5 because he didn't want to watch a team that he felt that they were so close to win the World Series. But he says once they won, he sent a few emails and sent a couple text messages, one to Ventura, saying, hey, congratulations. He said the next day he woke up and he ran extra laps on the beach. He said that became his motivation in the offseason, to be better than the Kansas City Royals, to be more mature, and to find a way to take over and find a way to become one of the best pitchers in baseball. So far this year, we've watched Danny take steps in every one of his starts. Tonight, though, is the first time he gets to go against the world champs, a game he's been pumped up for since the night they won the World Series. Should be a very interesting start to watching these two teams play each other in 2016.
No question about it, and they're very close in age. Danny Salazar is 26. Yordano Ventura will be 25 in just under 1 month. So Salazar for Cleveland, Ventura for the Royals. And both of these teams come in roughly in the same spot. The Indians are 1 percentage point better than Detroit and Kansas City. At 13-12, the Indians sit in second place in the Central Division, 4 games back of the White Sox. Kansas City, along with Detroit, both 14-13. All 3 teams 4 games out, and then Minnesota bringing up the rear in the Central Division, 8-20, 10.5 games off the pace. So it would appear at this point that it's a 4-team race in the American League Central Division. Certainly Minnesota's not out of it, Rick, but something seems to be missing with the Twins this year. Yes. Those other 4 teams are pretty closely packed together.
We'll see it all year long. You know, it's still very early. We're in the, you know, the early parts of May. Long way to go. When we get to that 40-game mark, we'll start taking a closer look. But this is the first of 19 that these two teams will play, so we got a long way to go.
And as the Indians take the field behind Danny Salazar, we'll get a look at the starting 9 for Kansas City under manager Ned Yost. Alcides Escobar will lead it off. He's starting to pick up the pace offensively. The struggling Lorenzo Cain batting second. Eric Hosmer continues to hit everything in sight. He's batting third. Kendry Morales, Alex Gordon seated there. The top step of the Royals dugout. Salvador Perez hitting 6th. Then it's Omar Infante, Christian Colon in for Mike Moustakas, who's still out with a badly injured thumb, and then Gerard Dyson batting 9th.
Danny Salazar is our Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher tonight. He will make his 6th start of the season. He has never given up more than 3 hits in any one start. In his last start in Philadelphia, boy, he gave up 3 hits, just 2 runs allowed in 7 innings while striking out 8. It was a 2-out base hit and then a balk that ended up really costing him the ball game, because the balk was the 2nd run. The Indians couldn't score until the 9th in that game, and Danny took his 2nd loss of the season. So he'll be coming back to try and, you know, turn it around. He's thrown very well and he gives up very few hits. Let's check out the defense that is brought to you by Jeep. It'll be Brantley in left, Davis is in center, Chisenhall over at right, Ramirez at third, Lindor at short, Kipnis at second, Napoli at first, Gomes is behind the plate.
Mike DeMuro will have the plate tonight. Ryan Blackney at first, Quinn Walcott at second, Mark Carlson down at third. Mark Carlson is the crew chief. Terry Francona and his troops getting ready now. It's a big series, but then again, anytime you play in the division, it becomes a big series. And the Indians have already done a nice job early in the year within the division. The Tribe is 8-3. Of course, it helps when you Those 6-0 against the Tigers.
Yeah, Kansas City 5-1 in their division. So still, this is the first time they're the world champs. You know, Cleveland playing well, and they're coming off a good series against Detroit. You want to make a statement here.
Now Alcides Escobar to lead it off. And he pops the first pitch of the game in the shallow center field where Rajay Davis makes the catch. One away.
Well, you know he was going to swing at it. He loves to swing at that first pitch.
Our stat of the game is brought to you by Buick in Kansas City. Dead last in a number of key offensive statistical categories. It's troubling for Ned Yost and company. But at the same time, look, there are a number of different ways you can look at where Kansas City's at right now. One is, last year they were a team that, what's that old phrase, Rick? Offensively keep the line moving.
Right.
Well, in order to do that, you need a lot of people chipping in. So when they got hot together as a team, they rolled. But the same thing can happen when you go the other way. You get a bunch of guys who are just kind of all off at the same time or in a slump at the same time. And that's what you see with the Royals right now.
Well, they were a team last year. They were last in walks. They don't strike out. You know, they put the ball in play. But to me, the telling is the hitting with runners in scoring position. They were second in all of baseball with a 281 average last year. This year, they're way, way down. And when you don't get the key hits, it makes a big difference. And then some pressure can start mounting.
Well, it's only 27 games in, but they're second to last in that category of hitting with runners in scoring position. So that's quite a drop off. And I suppose too, look, when you win it all, everything's going to get magnified and looked at a little bit closer because the expectations are through the roof now.
Yeah, they've been there back-to-back years.
Kane chops one up the middle, but Kipnis flags it down. Off balance throw, pulled him off the bag. And Kane's going to steal an infield single here.
Well, you don't have time to mess around with Kane going down the line, especially from the right side of the plate. Kipnis would have had to get rid of that ball and make a good on-line throw, and it was way off the mark. So he couldn't get enough on it, not even close, and Kane will beat it out for an infield single.
So 1 on, 1 out. And Eric Hosmer is the batter. Hosmer's the one guy that everybody points to within the Royals camp who has been immune to the team's early season struggles. And a fastball strike to the outside corner. He had an 18-game hitting streak, which ended on April the 29th. That's the longest in the big leagues so far this year.
He had a nice year against the Indians last year as well, hitting .333 with 5 homers and 21 ribbies.
Good pitch by Danny as he changed the pace, and Hosmer, you could see, swung right over the top 0-2.
You look at Salazar, left-handed hitters hitting 105 against him this year. That is unbelievable. They're 6 for 57, and that's that changeup right there that he mixes and throws that fastball. That is unbelievable. The lowest batting average against, 139 coming into the game.
High fastball, and Hosmer's one guy that likes the high fastball from the left side of the plate. And
that was protect.
Fouled it back. A lot of left-handed hitters can't even get to that pitch. Hosmer's such a big dude, though. Seems like he covers a lot of space. Swings and misses here, though. And Salazar has his first strikeout, 2 down.
Well, he followed it that high fastball back with a nice changeup. Look at it go down, and he's got pretty good command of it early. That's our Circle K strikeout. Strikeout number 1 for Danny, number 35 on the year.
Since 2014, that is the 2,050th strikeout by the Indians. And that's 100 better than the closest team to them, the Dodgers. This has become a very good strikeout staff here in Cleveland. Top to bottom, really. Not just talking about the starters, but to include the bullpen.
It's nice to see it, and there's certain times to get strikeouts. I sort of like it, like the other night when Kluber had those 15 outs on 3 pitches or less and still had 7 strikeouts, because they can stay longer in the game, and it benefits the bullpen a little bit more if guys can put their ball in play and not, you know, line drives softly where their defense can make the plays. I like it.
Yeah, in order to pitch a complete game within reason, you've got to be around 13, 14 pitches an inning.
You know, and complete games are a rarity, let's face it. But when you can go out there and give them a solid 7, you know, nowadays they consider a quality start 6 innings and 3 runs. That's not really a quality start on our standards, but you go 7 innings, a couple of runs, that's what you're looking for, because it takes the pressure off your bullpen.
Oh, they got him picked.
Yes, they did.
Lorenzo Cain running away from Napoli, and Napoli tags him out. Big Mike runs down Lorenzo Cain to end the inning. Salazar caught him leaning, and the inning is over. Rest of Terry Francona's starting lineup presented by Progressive. Jason Kipnis will follow, then Francisco Lindor. Michael Brantley, fresh off a 4-hit game, the 11th of his career, hitting cleanup. Mike Napoli, Yan Gomes. Then it's Lonnie Chisenhall, Rajai Davis, and Jose Ramirez batting ninth.
And our Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher is Giordano Ventura, who is 24 years old, making his 6th start of the year. He is 2-1 on the season, a .367 earned run average, 20 walks in his 27 innings, but he can strike you out as well, 22. Good fastball, changeup, slider. And you can see he doesn't give up many hits, just a .184 average. And in his career, 4-1 against the Tribe. He was 1-1 last year.
Rick, the one thing that has to be, I don't know if it's troubling, but it certainly is something that they're trying to curb and correct, is the walks to strikeouts. For a guy with as good a stuff as he has, 20 walks, 22 strikeouts.
Well, right. And sometimes it gets out. He walked 6 in his last start. He walked 6 in his first start against Minnesota in 5 innings and 6 in 4 innings. You know, if he doesn't have that feel and command, you have to be patient and make sure he gets in the zone. If he gets in the zone, he can be awfully tough.
Again, he's just 24 years old. He'll be 25 June the 3rd. As Santana pops it up shallow center, out goes Escobar, the shortstop, one away.
Let's check that defense for Kansas City. They've made 11 errors. They're rated 3rd in the league. It looks like this. Gordon in left field, Kane in center, Dyson over and right. It'll be Colon at third base, Escobar at short, Infante at second, Hosmer at first, Perez catching.
Two years ago when he first burst onto the scene, and even I think last year early in the season in particular, he would have been prone to, say, I don't know, bouts of maybe immaturity, in that he would do some things that would just blatantly irritate the other team. He would stare down hitters. He was doing some things that a lot of young guys do, and the Royals feel like he's cleaned a lot of that up. As Jason Kitten has low bridged him with a screaming line drive right back through the box.
No, that's funny you talk about that, Matt, because they sent him down last year. As a matter of fact, it was July 21st when he was optioned out to Omaha, as Kipnis gets a base hit right back up the middle. But he was recalled the following day because Vargas got hurt and was placed on the DL. Remember that?
Yep.
And they were trying to punish him to send him down to do something. And boy, they couldn't prove their point. They had to replace him because of an injury. But since that recall, he's 11-2 with a 3.24 ERA in 114 innings. So that's, I don't know if it woke him up, just the idea that they sent him down.
I think that, and I would have to imagine, I don't know this to be fact 100%, but I would have to imagine the guy behind the plate has probably taken him under his wing and probably told him a few things over the course of the last year and a half as well. I mean, Perez is the unquestioned leader of this Royals club, and if you don't listen to him, then probably shame on you if you're a young pitcher.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of coaches and everything had to try and get this kid in the right direction. But you know, it happens to a lot of young kids that get to the big leagues early.
Hey, Carlos Carrasco went through it. Remember, there was a time when we didn't know we'd ever see him again as a starting pitcher. He had his issues throwing at guys and various. He was suspended. You know, he had to do some of that growing up and maturing.
Well, it was right against the Kansas City Royals where he had that one big country who was Billy Butler. Remember, he threw one up at his head and was ejected from a game after just coming back. Served a suspension and then hit somebody with the Yankees. So it was a huge issue.
Francisco Lindor smacks one up the gut. That gets through for a base hit. Kipnis stops at second base, so both Indians hits right back through the middle.
Well, not a bad idea. They stayed on it. They had a boatload of hits last night. Would they have 16 hits last night? They're coming right out in the first inning. A couple. That's a little two-seam fastball going away, right back up the middle. The thing of it is, it's nice. It's up the middle. It's a double play ball if it was at one of the defenders, but it was not. Now you've got a guy that had 4 hits coming up.
Well, here's the thing. If you're going to get Yordano Ventura, you better get him early. His earned run average in the first inning this year is 9. In the second inning, it's 1.8. In the third, it's 0. In the fourth inning, it's 1.8. So his most vulnerable moment is right out of the chute early in the game.
Yeah, he gave up 4 in his last start against Seattle. Couple of home runs, and he gave up a solo shot and then walked a couple guys and then a 3-run homer in the first inning.
And he's not the only one. It seems like a lot of starting pitchers where they have a tough time maybe early. And if you can get them, then you've got a chance. If you don't, it could be a long night.
To me, he started Michael off with a changeup, and I can understand that pitch. But if you throw it for a ball, he's not going to swing it, I don't think, anyway, because he's not an aggressive first pitch hitter. So you have to throw that pitch for a strike. If not, now you're going to fall behind him, and he gets even tougher to get out.
Now, Michael coming off that 4-hit performance last night, and it was something to behold, watching the way he used the entire field. Low, and it's 3-0, and it's also funny just to see how little Brantley's actually played. When he went into last night's game, he was hitting 167. When the game ended, he was batting 276. That just shows you how few at bats he's had. Now the 3-0, and it's ball 4. Ventura really wasn't close. And the bases are loaded with 1 out now from Mike Napoli. Our great clip of the game from last night, first inning, goodbye. With authority, Mike Napoli. I'm not sure we've seen a harder hit home run this year from the Indians than that one right there. That ball was barreled and blasted.
Yeah, the sound of that coming off the bat was deafening.
Right here is a good power versus power matchup. With the bases loaded and 1 out. And Ventura finds the outside corner for strike 1. That's something how he misses 4 straight and then hits a perfect pitch.
Tell you, he didn't want to go at Michael Brantley. He started him off changeup and was just trying to throw perfect pitches.
And that ball bearing in on Napoli. Strike 2. Kipnis, who singled, is at third. Lindor, who singled, is at second. And Brantley, who walked on 4 pitches, down at first. But Ventura now has Napoli in the hole. Indians coming off a series against Detroit in which they hit over 400 as a team with runners in scoring position. And as Napoli pops that pitch out of play.
Yeah, it was a hanging slider. Might have been a little too high. But Mike saw it on the 0-2 count. He felt he could push it the other way. Remember, he did that against Detroit. Went to right field when he was trying to get an RBI and ended up getting a double. That was just a hair too high.
Chop towards third, and it eats up Colon. Escobar off the ricochet, throws him out at first. That's a dynamite play, but the Indians will take the lead as Napoli picks up his 18th RBI on the year. Nearly had himself an infield hit as the ball caromed off of Colon on the short hop. But how about Escobar with the bare hand pick, and then Hosmer with a nice dig out on the other end.
That's a play that should have been made. Colon right there. Moustakas not playing. He has some thumb issues. But that's a heads-up play by Escobar to pick up his third baseman over there.
Second and third, 2 down. Boy, would this be a huge spot for Yan Gomes to pick up an RBI knock. A chance to drive in 2. And he's been very good in these situations. He's 7 out of 18, which I believe is the most hits on the ball club. No, Napoli actually has more hits with runners in scoring position. But Gomes with a .389 average. Chased one there, 2-0, and now a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Well, the Indians continue that kind of first inning magic. They've been pretty good getting out to the early lead.
First run scored in the first inning. Second highest total of any inning they have. The 5th inning is their next. There's the first one at 25 runs.
Yeah, 21-11. They've outscored the opposition in the first inning this year. And for Kansas City, it's almost the exact opposite. They've been outscored 26-15 in the first inning this year. And the 2-2. Big curveball spun up high and a full count. Lonnie Chisenhall would be next. The payoff pitch up high, ball 4. Ventura has walked his second in the inning, and the bases are loaded for the second time. So again, we talked about it already. That's 22 walks, 22 strikeouts for Ventura on the year. But can they make him pay for those walks? An opportunity for Lonnie Chisenhall. Indians 1 for 9 on the year with the bases loaded. Back out of play, and Chisenhall in the hole 0-2.
You're right. You've got him on the ropes in this first. You just need a base hit. This will be the 28th pitch of the inning.
Lonnie ropes it foul by Sandy Alomar, not once but twice. Watch this. On the line drive, Sandy, well, it wasn't that close to him on the line drive, but off the ricochet, it almost came back and got him. And he got a piece. Lonnie hanging in there. Chisenhall with 3 hits in his last 7 at-bats, covering the last 2 games in that Tiger series that he played. The 0-2. Breaking ball, and he pulls that foul into the Royal dugout. Tell you what, for being down 0-2 quickly, Lonnie's putting the bat on everything Ventura's thrown at him. And he continues to do so. And Ventura over 30 pitches in this first inning, which I believe is the exact same thing that happened to Michael Fulmer yesterday for Detroit. Now, Fulmer ended up hanging around for 5 innings, which is saying something when you throw 30 pitches in the first inning.
Yeah, well, the big 3-run homer from Napoli hurt him. Right now, he's only given up 1. He's trying to minimize the damage.
Breaking ball.
He's thou shall not pass. He's swinging at everything to foul off. And out comes Perez to have a talk with him.
And look, Perez, it's not like he lacks in confidence, but the one thing you usually see in a situation like this is like throw one in the dirt, see if he'll chase it. But with the bases loaded, are they hesitant to do that?
Not with that guy behind the plate. He's probably the best backstop, you know, that blocks balls in this league.
So you suppose that's what he went out to say?
Yeah,
hey,
don't be afraid to throw me that breaking ball down in the dirt. He's swinging at everything. Go ahead, we'll try. He'll block it.
It was down, and Perez went to a backhand to stop it. It was officially a 34 pitch first inning for Michael Fulmer last night. This will be number 34 for Ventura this evening. And Lonnie taps it up the middle. Escobar will take it himself. So the Royals avoid a major issue in the first. The Indians grab a 1-0 lead after an inning.
With MLB.com at-bat app, you can stay connected all season with radio broadcasts, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet.
Kendry Morales looks at a curveball for ball 1. Second inning, 1-0 Indians. Fastball in there.
I noticed in the first inning that Salazar had a little feel for his changeup. He's throwing some breaking balls. If you remember, in his last start in Philadelphia, it was raining, it was damp, it was drizzly, it was terrible. But he's so far has worked in all 3 of his pitches.
Chopper, and with the shift on, it's Lindor who runs it down and throws him out. 1 away. Lindor might not make a play closer to first base as a natural shortstop than he did right there. Keys to the game brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Limit the KC table setters and win the first 6 innings. That might be the most important of all, because when the Royals lead after 6, they are 11-1. When they trail after 6, they're 2-12.
Yeah, that's stay away from that bullpen. There's the key. You're right. Get their starters, get the lead through the middle part of the innings. Easier said than done.
Swung on and miss by Alex Gordon. Now Gordon, Rick, is, I don't know, it seems like he's striking out at a really high rate this year. 34 strikeouts in 90 at bats. And he's down on strikes his first time up here tonight.
And he wasted no time. And you just watch how he attacks the left-handers, and when you watch some of the swings, that ball was by Alex Gordon before he really started to swing. You sit on that changeup, and that fastball it's an easy 95 for Danny.
Chopped up the middle. Lindor with a diving stop, gets up and throws. Got it. Once again, Francisco Lindor electrifies the crowd. All out diving stop, face full of dirt, throws him out. Particular from Danny Salazar. What a great play.
I'll tell you, if he can get to it, he's going to make the play. He had the right guy running in Perez, and it's amazing. That ball came up, took a hop, he was able to snag it. And I'll tell you what, we're watching this on a daily basis. This is fun. This is fun.
That's my favorite part right there.
What, watching him after he makes the play? Well, he expects to make them.
If you're not having fun, then why do it? I mean, I get the old school don't show emotion and don't overdo it, but I love that. That's just pure unbridled joy. That's not showing anybody up. Rajai Davis, he fouls one right off the mask of Salvador Perez. Davis comes in with a .271 batting average right now. Tried to paint, missed outside, 2-1. And he pulls that foul over toward the Tribe dugout. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Chased one of there. That's a good breaking ball from Ventura, and he gets his first strikeout tonight. 1 away. Injury report tonight brought to you by the attorneys at Elk and Elk. For the Indians, of course, Roberto Perez had that thumb injury, had surgery this morning. He came out of it feeling good, and he told everybody, I'll be back as soon as possible. It's unfortunate when you have a situation like that. I mean, well, he made the play. It didn't look like any big deal, and he showed up the next day and said, man, this is really hurting.
You know, that's the amazing thing. You saw the play. He was pumped up of the situation. It was a big out at home plate coming in, and we thought everything was fine. Little did we know, or little did he know.
Jose Ramirez with a single into right field, and a 1-out base runner for the Tribe.
Hosmer, when you get one past Hosmer, you earn it. Hosmer, Gold Glove first baseman, he went over to dive to his right, and it just gets under the glove of Eric Hosmer into right field. So Ramirez gets a hit. They are 3 for 7 that first time through the lineup.
Couple of walks. Second time around, Carlos Santana. He popped one up on the infield. In his first at bat, takes a strike here. Santana has picked up a hit in the last couple of ball games. When he's batted leadoff, his own numbers have really skyrocketed. In the 7 games out of the leadoff spot, he's hit .346, and he scored a half-dozen runs. It's down low.
Well, as we talk about it, the most important pitch for a pitcher is strike 1 and get ahead of the hitters. And so far tonight, after Ventura has gone 1-0 on one of the Indians hitters, they are 2 for 3, and they also have 2 walks. So for him, it certainly helps when you can get ahead of the hitter. And he did that to Santana in this at bat, but he hasn't thrown a strike since.
Carlos with a big swing and a full count.
Here comes a 3-1 heater right there, and you can see the movement. It's not a straight 4-seamer. That ball just has a tendency to have a little sink action to him, but you know what? That sink action's at 94. The late movement, that's what does it.
He ends up walking Santana. And so once again, the Indians putting traffic on for Ventura.
Already the third walk.
And Yost probably not real crazy about what he's seeing from his starter here tonight. Not to mention, he's almost at 50 pitches with one out here in the second inning.
Well, yeah, he had to throw a ton to get out of the first inning, in the mid-30s.
Jason Kipnis had a base hit his first time up. That gives him 20 hits and 61 at bats against right-handed pitching already this year. And that's inside ball one. Broke his bat. And a roller to second. Infante to second base for one. And Escobar's throw to first is a double play. So Kipnis had his bat sawed in half. And the Royals turn 2 to end the inning.
Still available and include 8 different plans. When you buy a prorated 20-game plan, you'll get up to 12 games for free. Visit Indians.com season tickets for more details.
Third inning, 1-0 Indians. Bottom third of the Royals order coming here. Omar Infante looks at a pitch up high for ball one. Infante coming off that series against the National in which he went just 1 for 11. But last year, this guy did some damage against the Indians. Batted .304 and had 13 runs batted in.
Well, he loves the fastball. He can get up on a high fastball. He can turn on it.
He's picked up a hit in the last 12 games he's played here in Cleveland. Chops this one to Kipnis. And Jason will throw him out, one away. Here are the Quicken Loans Rocket Arms, and you're watching 2 of them here tonight. Danny Salazar, Yordano Ventura among the best average fastball velocity in the American League. Nathan Eovaldi and Luis Severino of the Yankees are 1 and 2, but that hasn't done a whole lot to help New York. They've lost 8 out of 10, and New York has a record of 9 and 17.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the Big Apple. Grumblings that Girardi will be fired and things like that. No, they're not hitting at all. Hitting with runners in scoring position. They've always been a team, it seems like, they have to hit home runs to score. Let it go.
It will go foul as Christian Colon tries to bunt his way aboard. Mike Moustakas was scheduled to be back in the starting lineup tonight for this game, but in fact he was in the original starting lineup for Kansas City. They expected him to be in there playing third base tonight, but Ned Yost said he complained of pain in his left thumb, which they believe initially was injured on a play at third base against the Angels. He took a throw, the runner slid in, and he got spiked in the gloved hand, but didn't really think of it. You know, hurt. You know, it was one of those, ow, that hurt, you know. But he kind of shook it off, played the rest of the game. And then it was a day or two later, he got one of those pitches. It was either in or off the end of the bat, and it really resonated in that same spot. And it's
got to get a little
worse.
rest.
Yeah.
Need a little rest.
I think that's what the Royals are hoping, that that's all it is, and it's not a DL situation. Ramirez will have to hurry. On the run, he throws out Colon. 2 down. And Jose Ramirez has turned himself into a pretty good everyday somewhere guy, whether it's third base, playing a little bit in the outfield.
Yeah, he's done a fine job, man. Early in the year, whether it be left field, third base,
defensive replacement,
he can play second base, shortstop if needed.
Gerard Dyson at the plate, and that brings Ramirez in on the grass at third.
Well, this guy will always bring you in on the grass at third base because that's part of his game. That bunt, he will bunt, and he tries to slap the ball by you once he has you in past third base.
No one called for Alex Rios this offseason, and it looks like his career is over. He kind of went into the offseason thinking, well, you know, I still want to play, but the phone never rang, and he came to Kansas City for the ring ceremony and said, you know what, I'm at peace. I won a championship. I'm going out on top. Nobody called.
I heard that.
I'm okay with that.
Not yet, but hey, it's still early. There may be somebody that calls him before it's all said and done if he can keep himself in relatively good shape. Because you never know what happens if somebody goes down or somebody needs an outfielder.
Point being, the reason I brought it up, is Gerard Dyson going to be able to play every day? He was great in that, you know, role where he comes in here and there, plays.
Right. Fourth outfielder, pinch run, you steal a base if need be. You can. We'll see. I mean, they won't know, but right now they have to go with it, or at least he could get the bulk of the playing time, and he was on the deal and hurt earlier this year.
2-2 struck him out. Danny Salazar strikes out 3, first time through the order, facing the minimum. And the Indians lead it 1-0, middle of the third. Stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lights. Let's go down to Andre Knott.
And Kona talked a little bit about Francisco Lindor. We talked about his hitting and his defense. He says the thing he loves about him is that Frankie wants to be like Derek Jeter in every sense of the term. And he says he loves that for a kid this age to want to be a great defensive player, offensive player, a leader, all in the field and off the field. He goes, I couldn't ask for anything more from my shortstop.
You know, there's nothing wrong with using somebody else as a, I don't know if role model is the right word, but somebody you want to pattern yourself after or hold yourself to their standards.
Well, yeah, you have to idolize somebody when you're young. But you know what? He does it, and it's infectious. It rubs off. You know, you go out, he has fun playing the game, and everybody else around him should have it too.
I think the most important thing is that, and believe me, Lindor has no problem with this, but you just always have to remember who you are. You can't be somebody else. You can use that person to sort of say, hey, I want to be like this guy, but you have to be you.
Get out.
And it will get down, and Lindor is 2 for 2 on the night.
Yeah, that was placed perfectly between left and center. Didn't hit it hard enough, so it falls in front of Gordon. Cain's backing up. It was a pitch elevated a little bit about the belt coming in. Got inside on him, but it's going to fall before Gordon can get it on one bounce. And Frankie's now 2 for 2. So they've been getting Ventura out of the stretch every inning. After one out. Boom, today. This inning, the leadoff man.
Snap throw, Lindor back with a dive.
Well, and if you're thinking too, you don't run on Ventura. He is practically impossible to run on. He's allowed just 3 stolen bases in his 390 career innings. And only 8 guys have attempted to steal.
Kia in the driver's seat. Michael Brantley against Kansas City has 7 homers, 47 RBIs against the Royals with a .329 mark. And Ventura missing 3-0. He didn't come close to Brantley his first time up, and whether it's by design or he's just trying to pitch him so carefully that he can't pinpoint it, he hasn't thrown him a strike yet. And he walked him again.
Wow, 8 straight, huh? Kids tickets start at just $10 for kids 12 and under with the purchase of an adult ticket. Kids tickets are located up in the family deck at Progressive Field and are only available at Indians.com.
She's got her Frankie Lindor signed ready. She wants to see him come around and score. See if Mike Napoli can drive him home. Napoli drove in the Indians' only run on the first with an RBI ground out. Smashes this one up the gut. Lindor coming around third. He's going to score. Napoli brings home Francisco Lindor, and it's a 2-0 Indians advantage.
And Mike Napoli has both RBIs, and he's not going to spot Ventura anything, as tough as he can be, especially on right-handed hitters. Jumps out on that first pitch and gets it right up the middle. You see a little sinker coming down and goes right back. It seems like all the hits the Indians have are going right back up the middle. Except Lindor's that went to left center. Everything is Ramirez pulled his under the glove of Hosmer, but big hit right there for Mike Napoli. Is still nobody out, runners on first and second.
A young lady with her Lindor poster got her wish, got to see him come around and score. As Napoli is driven in both for the Indians, and now they're looking for more. Yan Gomes, who walked his first time up to the plate. Fouled off by Young. Again, this has been a strength for Gomes this year. And he pulls that one foul by Mike Sarbon up into the crowd. And Gomes with a soft liner to right field. That's going to drop for a base hit. And a quick throw to second. And the stretch, they got him. How do you like that?
Well, Napoli went back. He stopped and went back to first base. He thought that Dyson was going to catch the ball. He was at the right spot. He should have stayed there. You watch, he comes back to first. The ball, he's fine right there. Now watch him come back. He ran back one step, and that's what cost him.
Yeah, the Royals are wondering if Escobar's okay. The shortstop, he went into like a first baseman stretch for that ball, and he spent a good 30 seconds to a minute kind of crouched over. Was his foot on the bag? It must have been.
Well, it had to. The umpire sat there and was looking at it was, because look at where the umpire is. He's in absolutely perfect position to see it all. There it is. Now, he called him out. It looked like it came off as he turned it over, but he was right there.
Now Yan Gomes swings at the ball in the dirt. Tough break for Yan Gomes. He loses a base hit right there.
Well, you give him that first out of the inning, and it would have been bases loaded and nobody out. That's the sad thing about it.
Keep the pressure on Ventura.
Absolutely. And then Chisenhall, he looked like he was looking fastball away and swung at a breaking ball foot out in front of the plate.
And now he's in the hole 0-2. Down and in with a fastball.
That's the 13th pitch that Chisenhall has seen tonight, and 11 of them have been strikes. So he's been swinging right from the get-go.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Michael Brantley, the runner at third base. Indians on top 2-0, looking for more here. Gomes at first, and the 2-2 to Lonnie. His fisted foul up the third base side over towards Andre and right down into his perch.
Wow, that ball got way in there. Stayed alive though, fouled it off. 2-2 count.
Roped foul into the seats and look out down low. Ventura deals, and that's low and a full count. Boy, Ventura has been wobbling from the outset here tonight, but he's been able to avoid the big punch. He's been able to kind of bob and weave somehow.
Yeah, that's why that one that last play, that hurts. They could have had the bases loaded and they kept the pressure on. But change up there. Chisenhall stays alive, fouling it off. Wow, he's at 70 already. Still still just 1 out in this inning, so there could be many more to go.
And Lonnie Chisenhall draws a walk to load the bases, and that's going to bring up Rajay Davis. So Ned Yost, Dave Island already went out to talk to Ventura once. Let's see if the Indians can make him pay here. And a breaking ball, Ventura caught it somehow, and that's out number 2. I don't think he caught it as much as it caught him. Wow. His heart might have skipped a beat or two.
It may not have started yet. That's self-defense right there. He didn't know what to do. This ball, you're right, it caught him, a breaking ball. It's a good thing he got his glove up. It looked like it was coming right at his face. It was. And boy, he got it. I don't know how in the world he was able to get it back there. He is so lucky. Gomes was way off a second, but he's in shock right now. Wow. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. He's a very lucky man right now. That was close. That's reaction time there. You have, you talk about a split second. Oh my goodness.
Jose Ramirez takes it down low. And Ramirez taking, that's a called strike. It's 2-1. Ramirez lines one deep left center. Gordon back. He won't get it. All the way to the wall. Brantley scores. Gomes scores. Here comes Lonnie. It's a 3-run, 2-out double for Jose Ramirez. And the Indians finally land a solid punch on Yordano Ventura. A 4-run third makes it 5-0 Cleveland.
Boy, you're not kidding. A big 2-out base hit here. He stayed on it, had the count in his favor. And I mean, now you make those walks, you make them pay. Gets it over the head of Gordon into left center field. All 3 runners are able to score. And it's a big inning. It's a 4-run inning for the Indians, and they lead it 5-0.
Wow, Jose Ramirez. We were just singing his praises earlier tonight. What a terrific job he's done, regardless of where Terry Francona's put him. In the lineup, in the field, off the bench. It's not easy for young players to maintain their swing when you're not getting everyday at bats, but he's figured it out quickly.
He's been getting pretty close to every day.
That's true. He's, as I said, he's kind of like an everyday irregular. Santana got on top of it and skyrockets it down the right side. Well out of play.
Well, Santana coming up for the 3rd time in this game, and we are in the bottom of the 3rd inning. So that goes to show you the kind of work that Ventura has had to put in out there to get through it. They will get that bullpen up finally. But it took one big hit to do the damage. He's been able to minimize it to this point, but until the Ramirez hit.
Well, the Indians riding the Ventura Highway tonight to a 5-0 lead through 3 innings of play. A 3-run double to open up a 5-0 lead for Cleveland. Fourth inning will represent the second time through the order for Kansas City. The Indians are already going through the lineup for the third time tonight. That's the 35th pitch of the game for Danny Salazar. Ventura has thrown 80.
Yeah, 1 for 9 the first time through. And it was Kane that got the base hit, and he was picked off first base by Salazar.
In the air, center field. Davis got a late break on it, but he's there. 1 away. Let's go down to Andre Knott. Andre, you've mentioned before that you don't see Juan Uribe without seeing Jose Ramirez close behind. How has that relationship worked so far?
Well, Terry Francona talked last year about how he couldn't communicate with Jose. He said he would try to talk to him. He didn't want to make a summit meeting every time he wanted to talk to him. But now he has Juan Uribe, and they call him Mini-Me now everywhere he goes. And you can tell that they make a difference even after that hit in between innings. Uribe came to him and he says, "Hey, what'd you hit? What were you looking for?" They talk and are around each other at every moment, and I think the whole team sees a difference in who Jose Ramirez is because of it.
You could be absolutely right, where he has somebody that he can relate to, he understands, and he looks up to.
Jason Kipnis throws out Lorenzo Cain, 2 down. Hell, again, I think sometimes we look at Latin American players and there's this assumption that, well, they can all speak English or understand English. Some of them can. Some of them understand more than others. But you can't just assume that everybody understands everything. And so for a guy like Ramirez, it might be difficult for Terry Francona to make sure that the message is getting through.
They forget how old he is. He's what, a year older than Lindor? He's a young kid.
Yeah.
You give the guy a break, man, but I'll tell you, he is much more matured than he was last year. No question about it.
Ramirez is 23. And so Juan Uribe is a guy who, obviously at 37, he's a tremendous influence and veteran presence, but he's also somebody that can speak the language, and so that there's nothing lost in translation whatsoever. I mean, hey, the best example I think we can give, Rick, is in this day and age, we all text and email so much. Sometimes you get an email from somebody, and the translation might be one thing when the person that sent it means completely different.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can understand where these guys are coming from sometimes. Hosmer tied up. Good pitch by Salazar, 2-2.
Danny's free and easy and fluid. Remember in his last start he struck out, was it 5 straight, where he was nice and free and easy in that start, and that was in bad conditions. He looks very smooth right now, and a big 4-run inning should help.
The 2-2. Oh, fastball painted. Hosmer could do nothing but watch it go by. Royals go in order. Salazar has retired 10 in a row. T-Mobile's greater coverage of baseball, and these two guys are tearing it up. Trevor Story and Nolan Arenado of the Colorado Rockies. Look at that, they've combined for 23 home runs.
Yeah, they're, boy, oh boy, that's a heck of a left side of the infield, isn't it?
I mean, I know it's just a month into the season, but Colorado, that's a nice surprise. They're sitting there tied for the league lead in the NL West.
If they get any type of pitching, Lord knows what could happen.
Dodgers scuffling, they've lost 7 out of 10. San Francisco treading water at 15 up, 15 down. Speaking of San Francisco, and we were just talking, Rick, about Alex Rios. I think I read 20 or 30 teams went to see Tim Lincecum pitch in a little showcase just to see.
Yeah.
And he was anywhere 88 to low 90s with his fastball. I mean,
that's a changeup nowadays, isn't it?
Well, the way power
guys.
Pitchers going, yeah, absolutely.
Sounds like it'll be a fit for San Francisco, though.
Jason Kipnis hits this one right at Escobar. Boy, the difference between a hit and an out sometimes so very thin. The first time up, Jason was right up the middle. That time about 4 feet to the left of second base.
They were playing him there.
And it's an out.
Yeah.
Up comes Francisco Lindor. Down in the dirt. You know, you talk about guys getting to the big leagues, and does success change you at all as a person? Lindor had a lot of success, even though he doesn't have a full year in the big leagues, but a lot of publicity a year ago, second in the Rookie of the Year runner-up. He was saying before the game tonight, when he trains in the offseason back in Orlando, he trains with the same guy that he trained with in high school.
Yeah.
That tells you something about the loyalty and just about where his head's at.
Well, you know what? You got to respect his parents for raising such a good kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's the way I look at it.
Alex Gordon into foul territory. Makes the catch there, 2 down. The one thing about Francisco that I get out of talking to him is that there's something to be said for consistency. You know, baseball's a game of searching for that consistency. He finds something he likes, he goes, I'm not changing it.
Yeah.
I like something, I stay with it. Whether it's food, whether it's workout, whether it's the gear you wear, if I like it, I'm going to stay with it.
You know, you never get too high, he'll never get too low, but he's an energy guy. And every team needs an energy guy that can bring out there, and he does it in a really good sense. Although, because, you know, he's young enough, he's been humbled already a couple times this year, you know, with certain things that happen. You get flat-footed. He still has a lot to learn. But you know what? On this team, he's considered a leader, and that is a rare quality in a young kid like that, to come to a big league team and already hit third. You don't even have a full year in the big leagues, and you expect him to be a leader. And that's what people do. So they better not, you know, just there's room for error there for this young man.
Yes. And as you say, Rick, there's a lot to learn, but you can only learn if you're not a know-it-all.
Oh, he's going to learn. He's a great kid.
And sometimes, though, young guys, oh, I already know it. I already know
yeah,
that. You know?
Yeah.
And you get that kind of attitude, you're probably not going to be around long.
He's just got to stay the person that he is, because he's genuine, he's priceless, and Cleveland's lucky to have him.
Well, and he's got some pretty good young leaders that are paving the way for him, like the guy at the plate. Now, Michael Brantley's still young, but Michael's been around enough where he's starting to feel a little more comfortable in being that leader. And, you know, Michael, and I'm not just singling him out, but he's one of a number of guys who can go to Lindor and say
stay
something,
on him,
and it carries weight.
Someone's got to stay on him. You know, you've got to keep the pressure down on him as well. Well, a lot of that took place last year when the team started to move and change and get rid of the veterans like a Swisher, like a Bourne, where now Brantley and Kipnis and the guys that they have signed, they've chosen to sign to be the core of this ball club for a while. It's like Tito said, it's your team, boys. You better step forward and own it, because it's up to you now.
Brantley smokes it foul.
And it truly is. They're in charge of their clubhouse. They're in charge of the way they act. You know, and if someone comes in there and you don't like what they're doing, well, then do something about it. And that's all part of how you play the game of baseball and how you teach and you hand good things down to the young players.
Michael shoots it foul the other way, and these are the kind of at bats. We mentioned it the other day. You know, he has a lengthy at bat. It helps him. He's seeing more pitches. And then last night he has a 4-hit game. Tonight he walked twice. He didn't even see a strike the first 2 times up.
Yeah, and the Indians so far have fouled off 12 pitches with 2 strikes off Ventura. Make it 13. You know, this is a guy that has swing and miss stuff. But this is the best I've ever seen their approach against him. I will say this, in the short 2 years he's been around baseball and the times he's faced us, he's always been pretty dominant.
Oh, good breaking ball. Michael thought it was ball 4. It was close, borderline. Ventura gets the call and sets the Indians down in order for the first time tonight. Brought to you by Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. By your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. And by the Cleveland Clinic. Access anytime, anywhere. Indians with a 5-0 lead. And here in the 5th inning, 4, 5, and 6 due up for Kansas City. Kendry Morales takes a breaking ball outside 1-0. Manny Salazar has been sharp from the outset here this evening.
He sure has. 46 pitches, 36 strikes. And he's mixed them all up too. He's had a great changeups, a couple of nice breaking balls. He's looked very relaxed out there tonight.
And Morales fouls this one back. You know, Morales, you look at his numbers and you say, wow, he's really down this year, slumping. Batting average currently sitting there below 200. He was 1 for 12 against Washington. Swing and a miss, and Salazar strikes him out. The reality of it for Morales is that he's been hitting a lot of balls hard, but he's been hitting it at people. And so some of his numbers, and it might not look good, but the Royals feel like he's due to break out at some point soon.
He started out with a changeup, a fastball, 2 fastballs, another changeup, and a good heater right there to lock up Hosmer. Boy, he is. It's been dynamite tonight. 5 strikeouts, 1 in every inning.
Upstairs with a fastball. Alex Gordon is, if you project it out, he's on pace to set a new career high in strikeouts. Struck out 141 times back in 2013, but he's on pace to strike out way more than that. Having punched out now 35 times in 91 at bats. Now the 3-2. And it's just low, ball 4. First walk issued by Salazar tonight. Make a difference this summer. Bike to Cure in Velosano, taking place July 29th through the 31st. Every dollar raised advances cancer research at Cleveland Clinic. Team up. Get involved at velosano.org. One on, one out for Salvador Perez, who was robbed of a hit his first time up on a terrific play by Lindor at short. And Perez way out in front. Boy, he talking about, there's a guy goes up, says, I'm going to get that first pitch fastball and I'm going to hit it hard, and he was swinging at it, and except it wasn't a fastball.
Well, this guy used to swing at everything that used to come up there when he was, you know, first starting out. He's still a very aggressive hitter, but he has a lot more patience and a lot more plate discipline. And he knows the league a lot better. But he sits down in that 7th spot, 6th or 7th in the order, and he can hurt you. In the original lineup, if Moustakas was in there, he was down to 7. Danny has had 8 0-2 1-2 counts tonight.
Go for the strikeout with a pitch up high, but he lays off. We're in the 5th with Cleveland up 5-0. And a good off-speed pitch got Perez. And that's what pitching from in front will do for a pitcher. If it's a 2-1 count there, well, Perez can be a little more selective, but when he's down on the count, he's trying to protect, but he can't get to it.
Look at the change up to the right-hander. It's going straight down. Look at the grip coming out of the glove. He holds it like a split. And just great command and feel for that pitch tonight. He has it working, boys. 6 strikeouts now.
And a foul back by Omar Infante, who grounded out his only time up.
You know, you as a hitter, and when you see this guy has such good stuff and he's getting ahead of you, he has 11 swings and misses. You don't want him to get ahead of you. You want to put a ball in play early.
Right field, Lonnie Chisenhall back, makes the catch. Danny Salazar breezes through the 5th, strikes out a pair, and the Indians up 5-0. Took the lead in the 1st on an RBI ground out by Mike Napoli. It was a terrific play defensively, and they broke it open in the 3rd. Napoli again with an RBI hit, and then with 2 outs, Jose Ramirez cleaned the bases with a 3-run double. And Danny Salazar has made it stand up to this point. Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen in the 5th inning. Is for left-hander Brian Flynn, just recalled today from AAA Omaha. And the left-hander will face 5, 6, and 7 in the Indians lineup. How about Yordano Ventura only going 4 innings here tonight?
2nd straight game. He did that against Seattle in his last start on the road, 4 innings. He gave up 3 hits in that game, 5 runs, and he walked 6. Today he went 4 innings, gave up 6 hits, and he walked 5. But he also gave up the 5 runs. So the Indians did something they haven't done a whole lot to him, and that's get to him.
Kansas City, last couple of years, has been a team. Their formula is they have to lead after 6. You can pretty much book it, and they're 11-1 this year when they lead after 6. That's because the back end of that bullpen is really, really good. They've got Herrera, they've got Hoshaver, they've got Wade Davis closing now. But you know, if the script is reversed and they don't have the lead, then they're not going to use those guys.
You keep those guys out of play.
Yeah.
You know, other than getting work in an inning or something like that.
They also have Joaquin Soria in the mix this year. He struggled earlier, but has worked his way back into the mix in the late innings for Kansas City as well.
Well, the thing of it is they haven't been scoring. They've been playing from behind, and you know what hitters do? They have a tendency to press and try and do a little too much. And I know their philosophy last year, but that was last year. It's a different year. It's a lot easier to play this ball game from in front than it is to try and play catch up. And I don't think many good teams are good catch up teams.
Mike Napoli drills one at deep left. It's off the wall. That's going to hold him to a long single because Gordon plays it well off the wall. He's terrific in left field for Kansas City. But Napoli, if he lifted that a little more, that would have been way out of here. As it was, he just hit a seed right to left field. Let's get on to Andre with more on Kansas City and that Royals bullpen.
Well, their formula has worked great for them over the last 2 seasons, but you have to ask the question, how much longer can it work? Over the last 5 days, their bullpen has pitched 20 2/3 innings and thrown 338 pitches. Just 2 days ago, the bullpen had to throw 7 innings and 100 pitches. How long can this great bullpen hold up doing that type of work?
That's a great point, because their starters last year, I think their bullpen pitched some of the most innings in the league. They were able to do it, but you're right. Eventually, it has to catch up to you. The starters are the ones that take a lot of pressure off that bullpen if they can go deeper into ball games, but they haven't been able to do it.
Yan Gomes walked in the first, bounced into a fielder's choice, but came around to score in the third. And a 1-1 might have broke his bat. Yep, Gomes is going to go back to the dugout on a new piece of lumber.
Yeah, when you look at the numbers of their starters, Ian Kennedy's been the best one so far in his 5 starts with a .261 earned run average. You know, he's given up in his 31 innings with just 24 hits. We will see him tomorrow. He will match up against the Indians. He's going against Cody Anderson, who will be recalled. Indians have to make a move for that. That'll be interesting to see. Someone's got to go.
And Gomes is rung up, and he looks at home plate umpire Mike DeMuro as if to say, you got to be kidding me. And now DeMuro hearing it from the Indians dugout. All right, let's take another look at this, and you tell me what you think. It's just rare when a guy doesn't catch the ball. A lot of times that just doesn't get called a strike.
Well, and Perez had his glove turned down that way. You know, usually they'll try and turn it up the other way to get the call and make it a little bit higher.
It certainly did not look like a good enough pitch to get called for strike 3. And here's Lonnie Chisenhall now taking. That's low, ball 1. Chisenhall walked and came around to score in the 3rd inning. One thing Lonnie's done really well tonight, he's battled his tail off when he's been behind in the count. He had a couple of quick strikes on him in those first 2 at-bats, but he fouled pitches off, stayed alive. This time he hasn't seen a strike.
Can't throw him a strike. Maybe he had 18 pitches or something in his first 2 at-bats. He was... 18 pitches and 8 foul balls.
And he walks on 4 straight. So here's the lefty Brian Flynn, and he walks the left-handed hitting Lonnie Chisenhall on 4 pitches.
Well, you can watch the game from the corner in right field or go on out to the new drink rails in left with the district ticket presented by Sports Time Ohio. District tickets are only $13, and that includes your first drink. They are available online now at Indians.com/district ticket.
Nice to see a few more folks here at the ball yard tonight. Beautiful Friday evening, defending world champs in town. Indians pouncing early for a 5-0 lead. And now Rajay Davis takes a strike. Rajay, last time up, was one of those moments where it was exhilarating and frightful all at the same time. He hit a smoking line drive right back to the mound, and somehow Yordano Ventura caught it before it caught him. But the next man up, Jose Ramirez, put a ball in the gap for a 3-run double.
Yeah, that was the big hit of the game.
And Davis comes up empty, 1-2. There is Ramirez. 2 on, 1 out. Indians threatening once again here. They've had multiple base runners in every inning but the 4th. Slowly chopped to short. Escobar. Only play at first, and he just does retire the Speedy Davis, 2 down. But now 2 are in scoring position for Jose Ramirez. And Jose, the switch hitter, will bat now from the right side for the first time tonight. On the year, it's a pretty big disparity for Jose, right-handed versus lefty. He's got 17 hits and 46 at-bats from the left side of the plate, and just 4 for 21 from this side of the dish. Most switch hitters, I think most, have a definite strong side. That's fair over the bag and down the left field line into the corner. It'll score 2. Ramirez on his way to second base with a 3-hit night and a 5-run batted in ball game. And the Indians extend their lead to 7-0.
That ball shot off his bat. It was, I mean, look, boy, that almost looked foul, but it was over the base fair. Watch.
Yep,
went over
sure
a piece of
was.
the base, and the umpire's right there. He sees it. I mean, that was a rocket. And what a night for Ramirez. He is having a heck of a night from the number 9 hole. 3 for 3 with 5 ribbies.
A career night for Jose Ramirez. And now Carlos Santana 0 for 2. I was just about to say before Ramirez said, hey, stop talking about I'm not performing from the right side of the plate. Very few guys switch hitter, Rick, you know, had the same numbers from one side of the plate as opposed to the other.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's hard to do. You've got to keep both swings intact all year long. It's not an easy thing to do.
But Jose Ramirez with a huge hit from the right side of the plate right there.
Well, the 3 switch hitters are in that lineup: Santana, Lindor, Ramirez.
Well, and the theme of hitting with runners in scoring position, it's something that has really been a problem spot for the Kansas City Royals. And for the Indians here of late on this homestand, they're not 16 out of 39. Tom Bochenek says that's a 410 average.
Doesn't it look easy when somebody and a couple of guys get base hits with runners in scoring position? And you can say, all right, no big deal. You get used to it. But boy, when you don't get it, it looks like, are they even trying? You know, the difference.
It seems to snowball.
It does
in either direction.
Yes, it can both ways. It's a confidence factor. That's what hitting's all about. And when nobody does it, everybody tenses up and they try to do it even more. But when it's free and easy, they relax and they just say, okay, let's go. Let's do it. Get it done.
Santana bloops one to right. In comes Gerard Dyson to make the catch. That ends the inning. But for the second time tonight, Jose Ramirez with 2 outs delivers a big double. He is driven in 5 and the Indians lead by 7. Now the Indians on top 7-0. As we go to the 6th inning, Danny Salazar spinning a 1-hit shutout. That 1 hit came in the 1st inning, and then he promptly picked Lorenzo Cain off. The only other Royal to reach was Alex Gordon, who walked on a 3-2 pitch in the 5th inning. Christian Colon. And he rifles one up the middle. The Royals have their leadoff man aboard here in the 6th.
Now stepping in for the Royals, right fielder Gerard Dyson.
There's Gerard Dyson, who struck out in his only time up. With Colon starting tonight at 3rd base, getting that hit, he's the runner at 1st base now. Takes us back to a conversation earlier in the game with Mike Moustakas, who sat out a couple of games, and he played, I think, on Wednesday. Then yesterday was an off day for Kansas City. They had Moustakas penciled in to start tonight's game. With him not being able to go and having those 2 days off, if that thumb's still really sore, you wonder if Kansas City might start looking at that and say, you know, how many days do we give him before we might need to think about putting him on the DL? Managers hate playing shorthanded. That's one thing that they don't like to do.
But if it's one of your regulars, and you know the trainers will be on top of the situation, it's a few days that you know they'll stay with it. They're not going to make a move if they feel you can be back. And it all depends on the player.
I guess too, Rick, the problem with a thumb is it affects just about every single thing you do in the game.
It's amazing a nagging injury, whether it's a baby toe or something that you never think of. You got to try and play the game or do something or hit or run. You'll be amazed at some of the injuries that you can have, and you say, I can't believe this.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got to catch a ball with a glove on, if it's on your thumb, or you get jammed on a pitch, you got to. That can be a real problem that lingers if you don't get it healed up. Salazar's 2-2. 1-hop smash to Kipnis. Goes to Lindor for one, back to first. No. The speed of Dyson beats it out. And there's one gone here.
Yeah, I want to see the flip to Francisco. Looked like it was in the middle, and he just didn't get it out of the glove quickly enough. You see the hop, there's the flip, and you see he had just a little bit of a problem getting it out of his glove. But Dyson's one of the faster guys around, so he beats it out. But they do get the first out.
And now Alcides Escobar to the plate, 0 for 2 on the night. Quick throw over. And Dyson, who does have 4 stolen bases, but unlikely down 7 runs that even with his speed he'd be running.
Not unless you could just cakewalk it. No, I don't think you'll see him running.
And Escobar came out of his toe hold swinging at that fastball. Out of play. Almost hit him. That ball had some running action right into the chest of Escobar.
Well, you got to go in there, knowing he tried to sink it in on his hands, but got away from him a little bit. Danny's only given up 2 hits tonight, both the hits coming off right-handed bats. Kane got one back in the first, and of course Cologne leading off the 6th.
And Escobar is out looking. 2 down here in the 6th.
Number 7 on some quick drying paint right there on the outside edge. I mean, that's a perfect pitch. And this is a guy that he can reach it. Escobar swings, he finds a way to get the bat to the ball. He couldn't even take it off his shoulder there.
And that will bring up Lorenzo Cain, who's 1 out of 2 tonight. Earlier today at Wrigley Field, big early season matchup in the National League between the Cubs and the Washington Nationals. The Nationals scored the first 2 and the last 4, but in between the Cubs scored 8. They got 2 home runs from Ben Zobrist, the former Royal, and they won 8-6 over the Nationals. Ben Zobrist isn't a guy you think of as being a home run hitter, but
no. But you know, you fit in that lineup. He can
hurt you.
It's a little bit of a different ballpark he's playing in now than it was in Kansas City last year.
I should say so.
So you know,
yeah.
you never know. That sometimes that could be a good hitter's ballpark.
Anthony Rizzo homered in that game for the Cubs. So did Jason Worth, who had a no, he didn't homer. He had a 2-run double. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting series to watch. Nationals came in 19-9, Cubs 21-6.
Yeah, the Cubs won the first 2 games because that's for Kansas City. They just played Kansas City.
Base hit by Cain, and the Royals have 2 on with 2 out.
Well, this is a solid base hit by Cain. He got that fastball. He stayed back on it, and boy, he swings hard. You can see him trying to elevate that ball, but it's a line drive right back up the middle. So 2 hits in the inning. Cain gets his second. 3 for the Royals, and now Danny's going to try and get this 3rd out and keep him off the board. Watch him how he stays behind the ball. See where it comes off that back leg and really leans back.
Yeah. Well, Eric Hosmer is 0 for 2. He has struck out twice tonight. First time Salazar's really had to work through an inning. He has breezed up until this point. And a fastball strike. And out of play. Salazar's 0-2 pitch. Yeah, and Hosmer fights it off to stay alive.
Boy, you talk about fighting it off. It's right, a high fastball. He had that swing, but boy, he lined it off, and he was late on it. But you get a piece.
Cole Hamels spinning a one-hit shutout against the Tigers into the 7th tonight. Texas leading Detroit 3-0. Talked about the Yankees' offensive problems. This won't help. Jacoby Ellsbury left the game with a tight right hip.
Oh, they're falling like flies there, too.
2-2.
CC just went on the DL.
6 with Boston. Now the 1-2 pitch. Hosmer is, oh, I thought DeMuro just deked us.
Yeah, he did.
He deked everybody in the stadium.
You gotta you watch the players. They started coming off the field.
This is his move. He steps up and then rings the hitter up usually. That's his strike 3 called move. He stands up and then.
A case of laryngitis.
Oh, my. So 2 on, 2 out. And now the 2-2 pitch. Runners go and Hosmer clobbers it. Deep right center. Chisenhall back on the track at the wall. It's Rajay Davis who makes the catch right in front of the bullpen, ending the inning. Danny dodges a major bullet, and the Indians still shutting out KC.
KeyBank Kids fun day of the season, and they get to run the bases after the ball game. That is courtesy of Cleveland Clinic's Children's. Visit Indians.com kids for all the details.
Brian Flynn on for a 2nd inning of relief work. Gave up 2 runs in the 5th. Facing Jason Kipnis, who's 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored tonight. Breaking ball hit towards center and a long run reaching out making the grab. Lorenzo Cain. Not many center fielders can run that ball down, but Cain certainly can.
Do you see the strides on that guy? He can cover a lot of ground. Watch, he's playing him in left center field. And on a dead run with the long strides of Lorenzo Cain, boy, he can pick him up and put him down and just outruns the ball.
I wonder how far he ran, about 35 yards maybe?
I would say so. And did it. I mean, he got there in a hurry, got a good jump. He was playing the left center. We had a great view of it.
Francisco Lindor.
Watch where he starts. Boom. 10, 20, 30.
Lindor shoots it through the right side of the infield. He's got a 3-hit night. So both Lindor and Jose Ramirez have collected 3 hits in the ballgame.
Well, this is the thing that Frankie's been doing. He's been fooled on a lot of pitches or changeups, but he's been keeping his hands back, and he just finds a way to get the barrel of the bat to the baseball. It's not how hard you hit it, it's where you hit it, and he didn't try to pull it, and he just slapped it that way. He did that on the road trip a little bit as well. So he gets his third hit, and he's starting to climb the ladder.
Brantley fouling it out of play left side. Michael fouls this one back. And a count, no balls, 2 strikes. Now, you mentioned it before, the Indians have a decision to make, and that decision will likely come either right after the game tonight or sometime tomorrow early in the day, as Cody Anderson will be activated from the DL and make the start against the Royals. An inning-ending double play, and after 6, it's the Indians 7, the Royals nothing. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud partner of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. And by Ford, built Ford tough. Tell you what, outside of the Indians' offensive performance tonight, some of the great defense and the pitching of Danny Salazar, the best performance of the night we just saw. Guy danced his heart out there in the bleachers. That was pretty impressive.
Friday night, he's getting ready for after the ball game.
He's getting loose on a Friday night.
Yes, he is.
Hope to see you out here at the ballpark this weekend. Indians Royals series continues tomorrow, 4 o'clock start. I mentioned before, there you go. There's the guy. I'll tell you what, he was absolutely tearing it up.
Had the Kipnis jersey on.
And now he's telling everybody well, see, I started with this move, then I went into the sprinkler, lawnmower. Cody Anderson, Ian Kennedy, the matchup tomorrow. And so, Rick, the Indians will have to make a roster move. Somebody's got to go, as you so eloquently stated earlier.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. A lot of times they wait till that day.
Smashed.
No, that's the first hit he's given up to a left-hander tonight, and the 4th hit. So Morales takes it right back up the middle.
There it is, Cody Anderson. Called back. He, hey, he took his lumps.
He struggled, and they sent him down knowing they weren't going to need a 5th starter, for a couple of weeks, and with the off days, and it's his turn, so he's going to get called back. He'll be matched up against a free agent signing from Kansas City, who's been pitching probably as good as anybody they have in the staff. You look at his numbers, at least that's what they state.
It's amazing the way Danny Salazar has pitched tonight. It would almost appear that it's his most dominant start of the year, even though he did go 6 shutout innings against Tampa Bay earlier in April. But he's actually given up the most hits in a start.
Yeah,
tonight.
that's
4.
right. 4 hits. That's right. He has never given up more than 3 up until that single right there. I forgot about that. But, it's only his 2nd start at home, and Danny likes to pitch here. He's pitched well in his career.
No, that's his 8th strikeout, Rick.
8th strikeout, and boy, you just watch. It's been a combination of high fastballs and changeups down, and you can see how left-handers are out in front. He locks them up with a heater in. I think this has been his best start, to be honest with you. He's been dominating.
Tom Boschenek concurs. His numbers would back it up. Over 70% strikes for Salazar. 11 times he's had a hitter down 0-2 or 1-2.
Yeah, that's exactly what the pitchers did against the Tigers in their series. Kluber was like 69% strikes. Yeah. Had 15 outs on 3 pitches or less. Bauer was 59%. Tomlin was 61%. So you like to get 60 to 63% strikes when you're going against a lineup. But right now, Danny, I think this is his best start. I would agree with that. He's had 15 swings and misses.
Salvador Perez 0 for 2 tonight.
Now's when you want your ground ball and you want a double play. Not hard on it.
Well, no, it didn't stay in play either. Well, I mean, he's had swinging this stuff tonight because this stuff has been hard to square up, hard to get contact on.
I keep going back. I've just been keeping my eye on him and his rhythm, his tempo. He's looked very relaxed. He hasn't rushed. He hasn't overthrown pitches.
Bingo. That's the biggest thing.
You know what I'm saying? He's just stayed behind the baseball, and he's had really good combination going tonight.
I mean, the only time he's missed with his fastball is when Yan Gomes has wanted him to, like that right there.
You get ahead of him, and you have a tendency to overthrow a couple because you want to throw a high, hard one, and you want to swing and a miss. But that's when you can afford to try to do it.
But with that good location of the fastball, he's had a filthy changeup tonight.
Well, a lot of times Danny will shake off Yan Gomes and go to the changeup. Gomer will call a fastball, and he likes to throw this changeup, but right there he shook off a couple times and came back with a heater.
Yeah, that was a close fastball to take for Salvador Perez, just off the edge at 95 miles an hour. Let's see what Gomes wants to go here. Slider.
Yeah, let's go with the breaking ball.
2-2.
Wouldn't chase. All right, he laid off. That's the chase pitch. I like it. Only the second full count that Danny has had tonight.
And the 3-2 pitch is fouled right back.
Came right at him. Fans are getting a little ornery. They want something to do. 7-0 ball game.
The 3-2, and
Nice
hated the outside corner with a beautiful fastball. His 9th strikeout of the night.
Yeah, you can't place it any better. Just a 3-2 pitch on the corner. Perez knew it. There's nothing you can say. You tip your cap and you say, I'm sorry, pal, it's your night tonight. And it certainly is Danny Salazar's evening. 9 strikeouts, 1 walk, giving up 4 hits. And right now, 6 2/3 innings.
Andre, tell us about the working relationship between Salazar and his catcher, Yan Gomes.
Well, Yan Gomes told me earlier today that they're just working on him knowing his identity and what he is. Yeah, it's nice when he has a change and slider going, but he goes, he wants him to be a power pitcher, to believe in his fastball. And he says it's taken a while, but they finally see that maturity coming from Danny where one pitch isn't working, go to it and believe in what I'm calling. And he says he can see it. It's starting to work for him.
And he is right. He's 95, 96. That's power, man. That's what you want to get. Hitters can't catch up to that. And that sets everything else up. But what happens, some pitchers fall in love with that off-speed pitch and they want to continue to throw it.
Lindor takes it himself, inning over. Danny Salazar sails through 7 scoreless innings tonight. Pitcher Danny Salazar. And Francisco Lindor, he's been no slouch tonight as well. He's picked up 3 hits. But the night really has belonged to the number 9 hitter, who might get up to the plate here in the 7th inning. He's due up 5th, and that's Jose Ramirez, who has 3 hits, 2 doubles, and 5 runs batted in. Mike Napoli, though, got it started for the Indians tonight. It was an RBI ground out in the 1st, then in the 3rd, he had an RBI single. There's Jose Ramirez.
That's the man of the night offensively.
Yeah. Career high 5 runs batted in for Ramirez. And Napoli takes up high. And Mike pops that one up out of play. It's upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 13,587 the attendance here tonight. And foul back.
Now Flynn doing a job where he's giving that bullpen a rest after Ventura could only go 4 innings. He gave up 2 in his first inning, but got the double play ball last inning. They'd like to get 1 more from him and save the bullpen in the first game of a 3-game series. And then Kansas City will head to New York after Sunday.
And Napoli down on strikes for the first time tonight. 1 away here in the 7th. If you can't watch the games on your TV, you can now stream them on your mobile device live. Just go to the App Store, download the free Fox Sports Go app, log in, stream the Indians wherever you go. Ground ball to third, and Christian Colon will throw out Yan Gomes 2 away. So with 2 down, Lonnie Chisenhall coming up. Brian Flynn came on in the 5th after Yordano Ventura lasted only 4 innings tonight. And he was just called up before the game. They sent Terrence Gore out. He's the speedster.
Yeah, there's a lot of pinch running for him.
But didn't really have kind of a role. Not more of a, I shouldn't say he had a role. He had a role, but they felt they needed an arm in the bullpen more than they needed a guy coming off the bench to just run. And
well, it didn't take him long to get Flynn in a ball game, did it?
yeah, you're right about that.
Welcome, kid. Hey, we're going to usually just sit down, relax. You'll get your work in. Little did he know.
I wonder if it goes through a player's mind. Gets called up. All of a sudden he's out here and he's looking, okay, this is my 3rd inning of relief work. Am I going to wear it? And then they get set back after the game.
Well, yeah, you get there. When you get to the big leagues, you just want to get in again. It doesn't matter how long or what the score is or whatever. When you're from the minor leagues, you're up here. Let's go.
But you'd also like to stay.
Yes, you do. Absolutely.
But that, again, for a lot of guys, as we've come to understand, that's beyond their control. They just do what they're asked to do. Lonnie Chisenhall shoots one up and backhanded by Infante, and on the throw, did Hosmer keep his foot on the bag? Yes, says umpire Ryan Blakeney at first base. The Royals are leaving the field. Terry Francona says, not so fast, my friend. We might want to take another look at this. And we'll see what Mike Barnett says. Hosmer's off the bag. It looks like he comes back down on the bag, and Terry Francona says no challenge forthcoming. Inning over. Hosmer just got his foot down on the bag.
Awfully close to, for them to overturn that.
Telecast is presented by authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Seven to nothing, Indians on top. And Danny Salazar comes back out for the 8th inning. Bullpen up, getting ready for Cleveland as Salazar's 99th pitch of the night is another strike.
Yeah, Danny has been in total control. The only time they've had 2 base runners in an inning, it was in the 6th.
Big chopper to second. Jason Kipnis takes care of Christian Colon, one away. NASCAR's back on FS1 tomorrow. The circuit heads to Kansas for racing under the lights at the GoBowling.com 400. It all begins at 7 Eastern, only on FS1, or you can watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Gerard Dyson 0 for 2 tonight. Fastball misses up high.
Yes.
A little bit low. And a strike to the inside corner on Dyson, 3-1. Full count. Center field where Rajay Davis makes the catch, 2 down. Rick, you mentioned earlier that already there's talk, rumors swirling. Oh, here comes Terry Francona. He's going to make a move with 2 outs in the 8th inning.
Go to the 2 right-handers, and it looked like Hunter was out there getting loose.
All right, so Danny Salazar at 106 pitches. He's reached the limit. His night is over. He'll lead to a great ovation from the 13,000 here tonight as the Indians have poured it on against the world champs, leading at 7-0. And Salazar with 7 2/3 innings of 4-hit shutout baseball. Are being congratulated by Trevor Bauer after a fantastic outing here tonight.
Yeah, he was as good as you could get, just as advertised. 7 2/3 innings, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk, 4 hits. And now Hunter's going to get a chance to come out and close out the 8th inning. Just his 3rd appearance. Danny ended with 106 pitches.
And Alcides Escobar 0 for 3 tonight, fouled it off. 106 for Salazar. And the pitch count total 9 Ks, 1 walk, 4 hits allowed.
9 outs on 3 pitches or less to go with those 9 strikeouts. So that's why you get into that 8th inning. That's what you want to see.
Yeah.
I mean, he had excellent control and command of his pitches tonight. That's why the 9 strikeouts are there, because he was ahead of the hitters and he made some outstanding pitches with 2 strikes to lock up some hitters.
This may not seem that amazing to you, given that he only allowed 4 hits and had the 1 walk, but the Royals never had a runner. Well, one time they had 1 guy get to second base.
Right, back in the 6th.
And that was it.
Yeah. Game with 2 outs. Well, and he had a tough night. He gave up his career high or season high in hits.
Season high, 4 hits.
Right.
2-out single for Alcides Escobar. We'll bring up a Lorenzo Cain.
For the Royals, center fielder Lorenzo Cain.
I was about to say, when Terry came out to make the pitching change, you'd speculated earlier, or you'd said earlier, that there was speculation in New York about Joe Girardi.
Yeah.
You know, his job security, given the Yankees' slow start. Same thing going down in Atlanta, except that's not exactly a story. Everyone knew the Braves were in a rebuilding. They gave away most of their team in the offseason with trades and whatnot. But Freddie Gonzalez, you know, most managers won't talk about it. But Freddie Gonzalez came out today and said, you know, it's tough. It's tough to hear people speculating all the time about your job and your security. And he was asked by a reporter if he'd received any clarification about his job status from John Hart or general manager John Capolella, and he said, no, I get a chance to write out the lineup card today, and that's good enough for me.
Well, you know, they're thinking, you know, if they replace him, what are they going to do it with, an interim manager and not hire the guy because they won't be ready for a while?
Yeah. Smooth sailing here tonight. Indians lead at 7-0, middle of the 8th. Progressive Field, folks are having a great time. I mean, it's Friday night. The Indians are rolling. The weather's nice for a change. All is right with the world.
Yeah, it really is nice.
Brian Flynn, his 4th inning of relief work here tonight. And Rajai Davis, who is 0 for 3, leading off for Cleveland. Popped him up, right side of the infield. Hosmer calls for it. 1 down. As promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And Jose Ramirez, with 2 outs in the 3rd inning, delivered a bases-clearing 3-run double. Then with 2 outs in the 5th inning, a 2-run double, giving him a career-high 5 runs batted in on the night. And Mike Pacta, his fingers are on fire, going through the computer records and everything. He said that the last time the Indians had a 5 RBI performance from a batter out of the 9 spot in the order was back when Kelly Shoppach had a 5 ribby night against the White Sox in 2009.
2 different type of hitters, huh?
Well, you remember Kelly Shoppach, he could have those games because if he got into a groove.
If you found it, that swing, he could launch you, yes. You hit that double right down the line.
The difference being, as we pointed out at the time, Rick, Ramirez has done it on both sides of the plate.
Yeah, he's had a nice night. He was playing, got the start at 3rd base tonight as opposed to the outfield. Normally he comes in later in the game if the Indians are winning, and now he's going to end up with a perfect night. Reaching all 4 times.
And Carlos Santana will bat here with 1 on 1 out in the 8th inning. Well, congratulations to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're up 3-0 on the Hawks. They win 121-108 tonight. And their Eastern Conference semifinal playoff game. Bouncer to short. Escobar to second for 1 on to first, and inning-ending double play. We'll go to the 9th here in Cleveland with the Indians in command, 7-0.
Five ribbies. To translate through your eBay. That would be very interesting. Royals 7-0 as they try to win their 4th straight. Over here at the corner along with Jensen Lewis, I'm Al Pulowski. Boy, Jensen, tonight some great pitching from Danny Salazar, but the offense, 5 runs batted in by their 9-hole hitter Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, we'll break it down for you on the postgame show. We told you not to forget about the guys at the bottom. They've been the story tonight. Oh, by the way, the guy on the mound?
Yeah.
All-star worthy?
Ooh, I think so.
I think so too.
Join us for Indians Live, brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Immediately following this one. For now, back upstairs we go for the 9th. Here are Matt and Rick, fellas.
All right, guys. It's been a well-played game all the way around on every phase for the Indians. Pitching has been outstanding. Timely hitting. Great defense. And now Dan Otero will come on to try to finish off here in the 9th inning. Eric Hosmer, Henry Morales, Alex Gordon due up. Indians trying for their 3rd shutout on the year.
Yeah, the Royals have been shut out 4 times to this point.
You wonder why the White Sox are having the kind of year they're having.
They're pitching well.
They lead the league with 5. Nobody else has more than 2.
Yeah. Well, remember when we went into Philadelphia, the Phillies had 5 over in the National League.
Yeah. Wow, that ball was ballistered, and it just trickles past Kipnis. He got leather on it, but man, that ball was hammered.
Boy, they gave a Kipnis an error on that. That was a bullet. I mean, it's coming in, and how hard do you have to hit a ball to get a hit?
Wow, that's. Oof.
Well, don't be surprised if that has changed. But it's scored an error.
We don't want to beat up on Bob. It's not an easy job being the scorer.
No, it's not.
That was. Whew. I wouldn't have wanted to be in front of that ball. Henry Morales fouling it back. Morales 1 for 3. It's. Take, for example, the other day in Pittsburgh, Andrew McCutchen is a phenomenal all-world player.
I saw
he had a tough one.
I watched the play.
It's ruled an error, and he said after the game, he took it back later. He reacted emotionally.
He went and apologized and talked to the guy. Yes,
he said, I think that score should be fired, is what he said. He said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way, but sometimes they don't realize how difficult
when you
to play that
sit up here at this level where they're sitting and you're down on that field, you don't know how fast that ball is and the hops you get, and everybody thinks that because the ball's right at you should make the play. Let me tell you something, that ball had to come off his bat over 100 miles an hour, and it was sort of a tough hop. So being a player and seeing that happen before, I'll tell you, that's not an easy play. That's no routine play regardless. Go down there and you try and catch it and see what you think. I think that's what McCutchen was trying to say, and I think every player tries to say.
Michael Brantley makes the play in left field, 1 away. Look, the bottom line is, people always say about routine play. Okay. The problem is, it might be a routine play, but the guy hitting it is not a routine hitter. These are the best in the world on both sides of the ball. So if a guy hits a ball that hard at you, remember, that's a major league hitter that just blistered that ball. Not a coach hitting a fungo.
No, it's an awfully tough play, I will say that. I know one thing, if I was scoring, it would have been a hit.
Well, if you're Eric Hosmer, you're saying, you want to hit right there, too.
Well,
you hit a ball that hard.
If they don't like it, they can always challenge it and send it into the league and see what they think. That's the one thing you can do nowadays that you never had a recourse of doing.
Ball in the dirt gets away, and down to second base goes Hosmer.
Kipper's talking to Hosmer right now. They're talking. And I can guarantee it's got something to do with that play.
And a base hit in the left field. This might score a run. Hosmer is going to come around, and there goes the shutout.
It's funny. It looked like Lindor just moved over up the middle as Gomes is out there talking to him. So they get on the board. It's a 7-1 game, and Gordon just hits that ball hard and takes it the other way and finds the hole.
So the Royals get on the board with a run here in the 9th inning.
And with 1 on, 1 out, the batter is Salvador Perez. Broke his bat and fouled it out of play. There's the keys to the game. And looking back, courtesy of Mazda, Indians held the Royals off the bags all night long, and they won the first 6 innings. They got out to the early lead, knocked Ventura out. Kansas City, when they have the lead after 6, 11-1, but when they trail after 6, they're just 2-12. So the Indians have definitely played this one the way they wanted to. Ramirez turns it, goes to second for 1 on to first, and Big Sal beats it out to keep the inning alive. Jose Ramirez did everything he could. That's going the long way around. He was deep at third, almost to the outfield grass where he fields this ball.
That is the long way, and it was awfully close at first base. Perez just does get the foot down.
And a first pitch strike to Omar Infante. Crowd on its feet. The 0-1 pitch a little bit low. 1 ball and 1 strike. And a strike is called. Remember, tomorrow, 4 o'clock, first pitch time. Indians Royals will have it for you right here on Sports Time Ohio, as the Indians try to run their win streak to 5 straight. First, got to take care of this one first. Now the 1-2 pitch. Just a little bit high, 2-2. That's low, and now a full count. The payoff pitch, and a ground ball to Lindor. He'll go the long way to first, close, and he's safe. Infante beats it out with good hustle down the line. And another play where Lindor might have.
Well, let's take a look at this again. He stays back and stays back. Yep. And he took that extra hop, and in time, Infante beats it out. And they're waiting to see if they want to check it. But
wow, it was close.
It was awfully close, but he stayed back, and the ball goes in, and they're not going to challenge it. It'll go as an infield single.
Infante's lucky he didn't roll his ankle. He came down on the outside part of the bag awkwardly there. It appears to be just fine. So he keeps it alive for Kansas City. And now Christian Colon, 1 out of 3 on the night, takes a strike. Now the 0-1, and a little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Chopper up the gut. Kipnis, long throw to first. That's not in time, and now the bases are loaded. Boy, are you kidding me? Couple of infield dribblers, and the Royals are keeping this sucker alive. And out comes Mickey Callaway as Gerard Dyson comes to the plate, 0 for 3 on the night. And it looks like Cody Allen is going to have to get up and start getting loose in the bullpen. That's the last thing you wanted to do. Now Cody was up and he was hot last night. He didn't. Oh, that's Brian Shaw, not Cody Allen.
There's nothing Otero could do. He had 2 ground balls up the middle. Lindor stayed back, and the hustle of Infante beats it out. And right there, Colon hits one, and Kipnis couldn't make the throw to first. Those are infield grounders.
Well, here's Gerard Dyson as Shaw starts to heat in a hurry. This is kind of the Royals' calling card, if you will. They never say die with this group. And a foul right back. Royals came from behind in 8 of their 11 wins last year in the postseason. An unprecedented 7 of those were from multiple run deficits. So we're not talking just about 1 here or there. Kipnis will flip it to Lindor, and this one is history. The Indians stay hot. They've won 4 in a row as they take the opener from Kansas City by a final score of 7-1. The Indians equal their high water mark on the year as they go to 14-12. Kansas City falls back to 500 at 14-14. Danny Salazar, the winner. He is now 3-2. Yordano Ventura takes the loss. He is 2-2. The night belongs to Jose Ramirez. A perfect 3 for 3 with a career high 5 runs batted in as the Indians roll to the 7-0 victory.
Yeah, they keep it rolling, and they play well in the Central. You look at the Indians, and they are now 9-3 in the Central Division. It's a nice way to start a series, a weekend series against Kansas City. Reigning World Series champs, something that they could do. They keep it rolling. Danny Salazar was great.
Yes,
Ramirez had a great day. Fun to watch, and we'll be right back here tomorrow afternoon.
And the Indians continue Kansas City's woes. The Royals have dropped 8 out of 11. We'll be back with some final thoughts right after this as Jose Ramirez and the Indians beat the Royals 7-1.